Hi guys, Anime Gypsy here with Hunter x Hunter chapter 368 review. Now this chapter was a very nice chapter. It wasn't as packed as the previous Hunter x Hunter chapters. Togashi's taking it easy, obviously, since previous chapters read like a novel. Overall, there are three main points in terms of story progression and about 4 points in terms of characterization in this chapter. Now, the first point in terms of story progression was the Ohito reconnaissance scene. And in that scene, we see Ohito using the ability Small Eye to spy on the other princes and princesses using the cockroach. Now, since the title of the chapter is murder, I thought that, we would get to see the first fatality in terms of the throne war. I didn't think that we would see it during her reconnaissance. I thought it would be an entirely separate scene. But obviously I was wrong. We find out during the scene that Momose, the 13th princess, was the first fatality in the throne war. And it was just a brutal scene. At first, I'm not even joking, I thought it was rape because the guy was on top of her. It wasn't a pleasant scene to behold at all. And after that, we actually get to see Ohito crying over what happened, even though, this is something that logically would assure someone, because it means that the first fatality isn't the youngest prince. But that just adds to Ohito's characterization, which I'm gonna get to later on. And the scene ends with them making realizations as to the nature of the attacker, and Kurapika passing out at the very end after Babinama, I think is his name. Benjamin's bodyguard leaves the room and releases his N. So now you have Kurapika passed out, which I think is a good thing because that will prevent him from using Emperor Time, which has been sapping at his lifespan. Okay, in terms of story progression, the second part is the Hanzo Biscuit conversation. And during that conversation, we basically see a lot of Hanzo's personality that we've already seen in the past, or in the very beginning of the Hunter x Hunter manga. We get reintroduced to it, and we also get to see that Hanzo is very disappointed as to what happened because he feels it's part of his responsibility, that he should have guarded the princess that he was kind of assigned to, because he was assigned to her brother, but you get the sense of both the sense of lack of duty in terms of what he's talking about, like I should have been there, and also in terms of someone just died, fuck, like you get both, which is nice because that's his character. And Biscuit, with her experience, basically being like, hey, calm down, you couldn't have done anything. And then we go to the third part in story progression, which is oh jeez, Serdich nicht. That's the only way I could pronounce his name. Serdich nicht, the seventh prince, and Theta's conversation. And jeez, he is pissed. That guy is just no. I'm predicting this right now. Serdich nicht, or however his name is pronounced, is most likely going to be one of the biggest characters in the Hunter x Hunter manga going later on. He is just too much of a character, too much of an interesting persona for Togiyashi Yashihiro to just throw him out during the Succession War. At the very least, even if he loses the Succession War, he will be banished from the throne and not murdered. Now, that being said, at the end of this scene, we see him addressing Theta, saying that she lied because Kurapika in the previous chapter said that she wanted to offer Nen training to all the bodyguards so they could have basic capabilities to defend themselves. And she said during the announcement she spread through all the camps that she would teach Nen in about 2 weeks. But Theta was like, no, you could only learn Nen in about half a year. And she's obviously trying to trip the Seventh Prince up because he's a very fucked up person. And you see this Nen beast of his just staring, and I mean staring at Theta like he's about to murder her. And we know for a fact that the Seventh Prince can't see his Nen beast because Benjamin can't see his Nen beast. So, but this is so I wonder if he's anticipating Theta's murder. But I don't think Theta's gonna die anyways, mainly because we haven't seen her Hatsu ability yet, and I think that's something we're going to see. And she seems like a very interesting character that I would honestly like to see more of. That being said, let's go to characterization. And in terms of characterization, we have to start with Ohito and how emotional she was this chapter, crying for someone that wasn't her son during a succession war, where basically every other person who dies ensures that there's a greater percentage that you will live, yet she is crying for the death of someone who isn't of her direct kindred, a half sibling, so to speak. And it's very touching to see such a nice, delicate character as Ohito in the middle of the fucked up manga that is Hunter x Hunter. I mean, she really stands out like a sore thumb, a sore thumb, because you have all those fucked up characters in Hunter x Hunter, like Hisoka, the pedophilic clown, and Corolo Lucifer, the murdering psychopath who works as a bandit, and Ovugin who obviously died, and Nobunaga, and you get my point. You have all those messed up motherfuckers, and right in the middle is Ohito, this very sensitive person. And I really like Ohito because of that. Now, second in terms of characterization is this character I honestly thought was a fodder character, where basically he's just there to fill space. Sakata, I think is his name, because he's the person that made the analysis that basically Momose's Nen Beast was one of the Nen Beasts that murdered one of the bodyguards in the camp. Now, it wasn't clear whether he made it or Bill made it, but either way, whoever made that analysis that adds to his characterization in terms of wit, because that definitely proves that he has an intellect and he could think by himself about things like that, and basically could come to conclusions like this, because you realize that, hey, if someone was murdered who had a Nen Beast, then that meant the Nen Beast had to be exhausted, which meant the person had to be exhausted, which means that the Nen Beast had to have been active previously that day, and the only event where Nen Beasts interacted were the murders that occurred in Camp Ohito's room, which means that one of the Nen Beasts that was a primary cause in the murders was Momose's Nen Beast. That took some intellect, and I think it was either Bill or Sakata who came up with the conclusion. It's not really clear if you look at the panels, but either way, whoever said that gets some characterization. And third characterization goes to I really can't pronounce his name well. Bananamina, the Benjamin's bodyguard, the one that he sent. Honestly, when Benjamin sent the other bodyguard, I thought he was just gonna be like Vincent and just die, or at least I thought he would put up more of a fight or something. That bodyguard, I can't pronounce his name. That bodyguard is very witty and very, very, very good at his job. He's not the no-brain attack type bodyguard like Vincent was. And in this chapter, we get to see that he has a soft side, and he isn't the cold person that we knew that analyzes the situation and basically has no mercy on those around him. He actually shows some mercy by releasing his inn and giving Queen Ohito some space. Now, I'm not sure if he's doing this for a tactical reason or if it's just generosity, but either way, if it's generosity, it adds to his characterization. Possibly character development. Possibly. Actually, probably character development. And if it is him being strategical, then that just adds to characterization or story progression for that matter. Now the last person who gets characterization is Hanzo, and that's because we find out that he could clone himself. This nigga could clone himself. And I actually have a very interesting theory about what the nature of his Hatsu is. We don't get that much explanation into certain capabilities of Nen, and maybe his Nen ability would be something along the lines of all the stereotypical capabilities of a ninja, like walking on water, breathing fire, so on and so forth. And that would make sense because Hanzo is a ninja, and as he has been saying, that would only be fitting. And it's just interesting because that opens a wide variety of capabilities for him in general and the capabilities of Nen. Maybe we'll get a vampire themed Nen user or a zombie themed Nen user or you get the endless possibilities if that's the case. But I think he has a Hatsu capability of stereotypical ninja moves and whatnot. Now, in terms of characterization, that was it. Pacing was nice. It was a lot faster and less condensed than the previous God. The previous Hunter x Hunter chapters were just absurd. Just reading through them, I had to cut a lot of stuff in my reviews, and all of my YouTube buddies, who am I kidding? I don't have any YouTube buddies. All of you guys who have done videos would know what it's like. Know what it's like if you're dealing with a lot of material. Those chapters literally read like novels, and that was just insane. Only Togayashi could fit, what was it, like 14, 15, like different points in story progression and even more in characterization in one chapter. But that being said, that's all I got for this episode, for this video. And if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you disliked, please just dislike, and please comment why down below. And until next time, this is Anime Gypsy, and I'm out.